The studio lights dimmed, and everyone waited to see what River Phoenix would do. Los Angeles, 1986. Warner Brothers Soundstage 4. Walls lined with soundproof foam, massive lights suspended from the ceiling like metal giants, cameras positioned in every corner with their unblinking electronic eyes. Stand By Me, filming, 3rd week of production. The air smells like coffee, sawdust, and the particular electricity of creative tension. Rob Reiner sits in the director's chair, flipping through script pages marked with red pen annotations, his baseball cap pulled low over concentrated eyes. The 40-person crew moves with practiced efficiency around the meticulously constructed set that recreates 1950s small-town America. River Phoenix, 16 years old, sits quietly on an apple box near the craft services table, reading his lines one more time. His blonde hair catches the overhead light, still bearing traces of the morning's makeup touch-ups. He wears Chris Chambers' costume, faded jeans, white t-shirt, brown leather jacket that the costume department aged with sandpaper and coffee stains. In his hands, the script pages are clean, unmarked. River doesn't need to write notes. He absorbs dialogue like water into soil. The morning had gone smoothly. River's scenes with Will Wheaton were natural, authentic, filled with the kind of understated emotion that makes viewers forget they're watching actors. No multiple takes needed. Clean dialogue delivery, real emotion bubbling beneath every line. Rob watched River work and understood why casting directors kept calling about this kid from Oregon. Not just talent, something deeper. Maturity that had nothing to do with years lived, and everything to do with understanding human nature. He gets it, Rob had whispered to the script supervisor during a lighting change. He understands that acting isn't about performing. It's about being. But now, during the lunch break, tension fills the air like static electricity before a thunderstorm. The crew senses it without understanding the source. Marcus Holloway leans against the equipment table, arms crossed, expensive leather jacket draped over his shoulders like a cape. 28 years old, leading man in 3 studio films, represented by CAA, featured on magazine covers that teenage girls tape to bedroom walls, blonde hair perfectly styled even between takes, jaw sharp enough to cut glass, presence that commands attention without effort. He plays the older brother in 2 pivotal scenes, important role, union scale, plus points on the back end. His agent negotiated for above-title billing. Marcus has been watching River all morning with growing irritation, watching him nail complex emotional scenes on the first take while veteran actors struggle with simple blocking, watching directors and producers nod approvingly after River's performances, the kind of approval Marcus remembers from his early career, but hasn't seen in months. Watching a 16-year-old kid make acting look effortless, while Marcus fights for every moment of authentic connection with his character. The jealousy started small, a tiny knot in Marcus's stomach, when River delivered a heartbreaking line about friendship with such natural honesty that several crew members wiped their eyes. It grew larger when Rob Reiner pulled River aside for quiet direction, the kind of respectful collaboration usually reserved for seasoned professionals. By lunch, the jealousy had transformed into something uglier. The need to establish dominance, to remind everyone of the natural hierarchy that should exist between the established star and a teenage newcomer. River finishes his sandwich, wipes his hands methodically on a paper napkin. stands to walk toward the makeup trailer for touch-ups before the next scene. He moves quietly through the controlled chaos of the film set, never announcing his presence, never demanding attention from busy technicians, just doing his job with the kind of professional courtesy that came naturally to him. Marcus steps into River's path deliberately, positioning himself so River has to acknowledge him. "Hey, kid." River stops, looks up with those clear green eyes that casting directors called old soul eyes. "Hello, Marcus." Marcus smiles, but the expression doesn't reach his eyes. It's the smile of a predator sizing up prey, calculating angles of attack. "Quite a performance this morning. Very enthusiastic." River nods politely, sensing undercurrents, but responding with genuine gratitude. "Thank you. I enjoyed working with Will. The chemistry feels natural." "You know," Marcus continues, raising his voice just enough for the nearby crew to hear, "I've been doing this for 8 years. Started with small parts in New York theater, worked my way up through television, earned my place in studio films, studied with the best teachers in the city, Meisner technique at the neighborhood playhouse, Stella Adler workshops at NYU, real training from masters who understand the craft." River listens without responding, his face remaining calm and respectful. He can feel other people slowing their work, sensing confrontation brewing. "What I've learned through years of professional experience," Marcus says, stepping closer to emphasize his height advantage, "is that acting isn't about being cute or having a pretty face that cameras love. It's about understanding life, understanding pain, understanding what real emotions feel like when they've been earned through experience. You have to live before you can portray life convincingly." Several crew members have stopped their work entirely now. The gaffer adjusts a light, but keeps one ear on the conversation. The script supervisor pretends to review notes while watching from peripheral vision. The second assistant director reaches for his walkie-talkie, ready to call Rob if things escalate. Marcus leans down slightly, meeting River's eyes with an expression of condescending patience. "You're just a kid. You haven't experienced anything real yet, haven't faced real loss, real heartbreak, real failure. This whole innocent thing you do, this natural approach that everyone's praising, it works perfectly for child roles. But don't confuse that with actual acting ability. Don't mistake beginner's luck for professional skill." The words hang in the air like cigarette smoke, sharp and acrid, calculated to wound, designed to establish hierarchy, intended to remind everyone within earshot that Marcus is the experienced professional, and River is just a teenager playing pretend in an adult world. River doesn't flinch, doesn't step back or away from Marcus's imposing presence, doesn't argue or immediately defend himself with the kind of emotional reaction Marcus expects and wants. He simply looks at Marcus with those remarkably clear eyes, processing not just the words, but the insecurity and fear behind them. River sees a man threatened by youth, by natural talent, by the reminder of what he used to be before the industry wore down his edges. 3 seconds pass. The soundstage grows unnaturally quiet. Even the grips stop moving equipment. The assistant director lowers his walkie-talkie. Someone's coffee cup stops halfway to their mouth. Then River speaks. His voice is soft, measured, carrying just enough volume for Marcus to hear clearly without including the eavesdropping crew. "You're right. I am just a kid. I haven't experienced everything life has to offer. But I've experienced enough to know that real acting isn't about proving you're better than someone else, or more deserving of respect because of your resume. It's about serving the story honestly. It's about finding truth in whatever moment you're given, regardless of your age or your training pedigree. River pauses, not for dramatic effect, but to make sure his words are clear and understood. His tone carries no anger, no defensiveness, just quiet certainty. What I've learned in my short time doing this work is that authenticity doesn't require suffering to be valid. It requires honesty about whatever you bring to the role. And right now, honestly, I think you're more concerned with being seen as the veteran than with doing good work together. The soundstage goes completely silent. 40 people frozen in place, like actors in a tableau. Marcus's confident smile disappears completely. His face flushes red, then white. Nobody talks to established actors this way, especially not 16-year-old kids who should be grateful for the opportunity to work alongside professionals who should understand their place in the hierarchy. River's expression doesn't change. No smugness, no arrogance, no pride in winning a verbal sparring match. Just calm observation, like he's commenting on the weather or noting the time of day. His honesty is so pure, it cuts through Marcus's defenses like a hot knife through butter. Marcus opens his mouth to respond, then closes it without speaking. What can he say? River didn't insult him or attack his ability or question his credentials. He simply pointed out a truth that everyone on set can see, but nobody else would dare voice. Marcus is threatened by a teenager's natural talent and using his experience as a weapon to diminish it. Rob Reiner's voice cuts through the tension like a director's call to action. All right, everyone, let's set up for scene 47. River, you're in first position. Marcus, we'll need you in 5 minutes for blocking. The crew snaps back to movement with visible relief. Equipment gets adjusted with renewed focus. Lights repositioned with purpose. Normal film set activity resumes, but the energy has shifted fundamentally. Something has been settled without violence, without drama, just with 3 seconds of honesty from a kid who understands more about human nature than most adults twice his age. River walks past Marcus toward his mark, moving with the same quiet professionalism he's shown all day. As he passes, he stops briefly, close enough that only Marcus can hear. I hope we do good work together, River says quietly. No sarcasm, no malice, no hidden meaning. Genuine hope expressed with the kind of sincerity that makes Marcus's throat tighten unexpectedly. Marcus watches him go, understanding that he just witnessed something rare in Hollywood. A teenager who responded to aggression with wisdom instead of defensiveness. Who chose grace over ego. Who demonstrated the very maturity Marcus claimed River lacked, proving it in the most powerful way possible. The afternoon shoot goes smoothly. River delivers his lines with the same natural honesty as the morning, finding new layers in familiar dialogue. Marcus, humbled despite himself, finds his own performance improving. The scene between them crackles with authentic tension, not because of their personal conflict, but because both actors are now fully present and committed to the truth of the story. During wrap, as the crew begins the methodical process of breaking down the set for the day, Marcus approaches River near the exit. River is removing his costume jacket carefully, handing it to the wardrobe assistant with a quiet "thank you" that makes the woman smile. That was good work today, Marcus says awkwardly, struggling with words that don't come naturally. River nods with genuine warmth. You too. The scene felt real. Honest. Yeah. Marcus hesitates, wrestling with pride and conscience. Listen, what I said earlier about being just a kid. Already forgotten, River says simply, and Marcus realizes he isn't being polite or diplomatic. He genuinely has moved past it. No grudge, no resentment, no need to make Marcus grovel or apologize extensively. Just forward motion toward better work. Weeks later, after the film wraps and everyone returns to their separate lives, Marcus tells people about working with River Phoenix. He doesn't mention the confrontation or his own behavior. Instead, he talks about professionalism, about natural talent, about what real maturity looks like when it's not performed for cameras. That kid taught me something important, Marcus says during a magazine interview. Acting isn't about what you've survived or what credentials you can list. It's about what you understand about people. And River understands human nature in a way that has nothing to do with age or experience. Years later, after River's tragic death, Marcus still tells the story, not as a victory or defeat, but as a lesson about grace under pressure, about responding to insecurity with compassion, about the difference between being experienced and being wise, about how a 16-year-old taught a 28-year-old what strength really means. 3 seconds on a film set in 1986. One moment when a teenager chose dignity over defensiveness. One choice that showed everyone watching what real power looks like. Not the ability to hurt others, but the wisdom to help them find their way back to themselves.